Do you realize if you are hurting after a breakup, you are likely grieving? You are probably in the grieving process right now, whether you realize it or not. But you don't have to be miserable, all right? You don't have to stay stuck in these particular stages of grief. I want to talk about intentional grieving on today and why it's necessary for healing. And so if you don't know what that is, don't worry, I will explain it to you on today, and I'm going to tell you exactly why you need to do it. All right. I love you, sis, and come on and join me for this episode.
Hey, sis. Welcome to Goodbye Heartbreak, Hello Healing. Are you hurt and confused after a recent breakup? Are you having thoughts like, I can't believe I'm here again. Why wasn't I enough for him? Or I'm never going to get married? Do you find yourself Googling how to get past the breakup or how to heal my broken heart? Do you start your morning feeling like you can finally breathe again, only to fall apart when you see a picture of your ex on social media? Hey sis, I'm Candace. I too was a single Christian woman who was heartbroken but still desired marriage. I too had numerous failed relationships and wished the right man would come along. I wanted closure from past relationships, healing for my heart, and I wanted to feel joy in my life again. But the truth is, I had no idea where to start or how to make any of this happen. Until I found the secret, partnering with God to heal from heartbreak. In this podcast, you will find tips for moving on after breakups, growing your relationship with God, and preparing for future relationships so that you will heal your heart and be ready to move forward into the life you desire. So turn off those heartbreak songs and turn me up in those earbuds. It's time to heal, sis.
Hey sis, welcome back for another special episode of Goodbye Heartbreak, Hello Healing. I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving, sis. I know that I did. I am trying to relax a little bit during this week, but I definitely wanted to take time to come in and pour into you guys. I also hope that you are getting in some good Black Friday shopping on today. I hope you are taking advantage of all the amazing deals everywhere. And speaking of taking advantage of the deals, do not forget that I have a Black Friday deal for you also on my course, Grieving the Living. Okay, so if you have been struggling, sis, with a breakup, if you are feeling stuck, not sure how to move on, need help and a roadmap to do that, I got you covered. Join me in my course, Grieving the Living. Again, the Black Friday sale is happening right now. Started today, all right? So go to CandaceABaddies.com/Grieving the Living and use the discount code BF50, that's BF50, to get $50 off of my course. And sis, I also have some really good payment plans available if you want to take advantage of it. So seriously, you can get started today for as little as $37. Like seriously, it's good. Okay. So don't miss out because you don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to be confused. You can just join me in my course and I will give you what you need to go through the grieving process. Okay. And speaking of, I really wanted to talk about it today. I really wanted to talk about the importance of grieving and not just grieving, but intentional grieving. Okay. And so this is a term that, came to mind for me. It's not listed anywhere that I know of. I didn't look it up or anything like that, but I feel like we can be intentional with everything that we do, right? I wasn't intentional about grieving after my breakup because I didn't know that was a thing, right? But I am here sharing this information with you because I know better now. God has taken the scales off my eyes. He's allowed me to really see what happens to people, what was happening to me after the breakup. And he revealed to me that you were grieving, and I was able to go through these different stages of grief and see myself in each individual stage, okay? And so I really break all of this stuff down in my course, but I wanted to talk to you about intentional grieving, which means you are being intentional through this process because, as I said before, whether you realize it or not, whether you want to or not, you are likely grieving. which is why you're here. You're grieving the loss of your ex, you're grieving the loss of that relationship, and you're grieving the loss of the life that you thought that you would have with that person. You're grieving your future that you thought you would have. Like, things just look completely different than what you had planned out. So I wanted to really dig into this today and tell you 6 reasons why intentional grieving is necessary for their healing process, okay? Because here's the thing, you can grieve and then you can go through some stages of grief, but if you don't know what you're doing and you're not being intentional in these stages as you go through them, then you can get stuck in a stage and never ever make it out. Like, you can get stuck and this thing could plague you for the rest of your life. I'm talking leaving you stuck, affecting every single relationship that you have from here on out, affecting friendships, affecting your total outlook on your life, right? And you want to be as healthy as you possibly can for yourself, as you serve God, as you walk in purpose, and yes, as you ultimately find the person that you might spend the rest of your life with. You want to be as healthy as you possibly can for all of these things. You want to be healthy as a whole. And so this one part of your life, this loss of this relationship and this love, can completely affect every single area of your life, which is why it is necessary to deal with it. All right. So let's talk about the 6 reasons why this intentional grieving is necessary for healing. All right. Number 1, it helps you accept the loss and your current circumstances. Okay. So accept it, like you are now saying, you know what, this is where I am. It's hard. It's really hard to do that sometimes because you feel like you just want to continue to fight for that relationship. You want to continue trying to figure out why. You don't want to really accept that you have lost your love, your person, the future, all the things that I just named. You don't want to accept that. But when you intentionally go through the grieving process, then you are able to do that. You're able to say, you know what, it's not that you're like, oh, I'm gung ho and so happy about this from day one. But as you go through the grieving process, that acceptance is part of it that comes along with you. And so you can say, okay, though I may not be crazy about my current circumstances, this is what it is. And that's a very important step as you move forward. Number 2, it gives you space to feel and process your thoughts and emotions. So during this season of your life, you probably have a lot of questions. You have thousands of thoughts probably every single day about just centering around this situation, around the breakup, around the relationship, around the person, around your future. Like, there's so many thoughts that are probably playing and replaying in your mind every single day. And with those thoughts comes emotions that you probably rather not feel, right? Sadness, depression, even anger sometimes. Like I talk about in my course, I talk about the flood of emotions that tend to happen. It's called a flood because it's like a gate opens up when you are able to finally say, you know what, I'm not fighting it anymore. Because even when you're fighting it, you're going to experience some emotions, but you experience intense emotions when you're feeling like, okay, I'm not going to fight this anymore. And reality really starts to set in. You're like, okay, I have thoughts, emotions, like what do I do with all of this? Okay. So intentional grieving will allow you to really process all of these things and allow you to feel it, because that's the problem I think a lot of people have. I know for me, through the years, one of the reasons I did not want to actually grieve and deal with my emotions is because I did not want to feel that. I didn't think that I could handle the magnitude of negative emotions that were going to flood through my body, because I was just like, what would I do? But here I am telling you that I survived it. It wasn't an easy thing to survive, but I did survive it. And you will too, sis, but you have to go ahead and feel it and process it so that you can move on from there. Number 3, intentional grieving gives you more control over your healing journey. All right. So I'm talking about you're going to grieve whether you know it or not, whether you want to or not. You are likely somewhere in those first few stages right now. Okay. Most of you are. And so you're there. And like I said earlier, you probably don't even realize that you're there. But if you can have awareness about what each stage of grief entails, it doesn't mean that you're going to avoid the stage altogether, but it gives you more control because you know what to expect. And then you get tools to help you to handle and overcome at each stage. So in essence, you are in more control rather than not knowing what to expect, things catching you off guard, and you not knowing what to do about it. Number 4, and it kind of goes in hand with what I just said at number 3, you learn what to expect at each stage. Okay. So again, you will learn the awareness of, hey, this is what happens, because in my course, Grieving the Living, I teach you, before I teach you what to do in the stages, I teach you what each stage entails. Again, awareness is so important. You need to know what you're dealing with. You need to know what to expect. What's coming down the pipes for me? What's the possibility of what I may experience here? And I feel like when you know what to expect, then again, you are better able to handle it. And that goes with number 5 as well. It helps you to prepare at each stage. So when you know what to expect, right? When you have more control over what's happening on your healing journey, then you can prepare for the things that are to come. You're like, okay, this flood of emotions might come. Like, you mean to tell me that things might get even more intense than they have already been? All right, but here are the tools. Here are the things. Here are my healing activities that I'm going to engage in every day. And so I might need to kick it up a notch in case that that intense emotion stage really tries to take me out. So, we talk about in the very first week of Grieving the Living about how to actually develop a healing plan. Okay. And so I like to do that in week 1 because you're able to build it out throughout the entire 4 weeks of the course so that you are prepared at every single stage. So again, if you know what to expect, then it helps you prepare. You can build out a plan ahead of time. And so that when things happen, because it's going to happen, sis, it's you're going to have a moment where something triggers you and you need to know what to do. So here comes the healing plan. Why? Because you're being intentional about your grieving process. All right. So you have a plan in place that's going to help you. You have a support system built around you that's going to help you. And again, we go through all of this in my course. And then number 6, intentional grieving makes it easier to let go of your ex. All right. So it's never easy to let go of someone that you love, especially someone that you thought you would be spending your life with. Okay. That is not easy at all. And what makes it harder is when you don't know how to let go, when you don't have tools to teach you, how to let go, when you don't know, or you feel like you don't have time or the space or the know-how to process your thoughts and emotions around the situation. When you just try to avoid things and stuff feelings down, then you're going to have this attachment. You'll feel like you cannot sever the attachment that you have to your ex, right? But again, when you're more in control of your healing journey and you are intentional about the grieving, then you go ahead and you grieve that loss. You don't ignore it. You actually recognize, you give words to your feelings and your emotions. You identify what's happening. You recognize your triggers, the things that are making you miss your ex, right? You do all of these things, but when you do it and you deal with it and you process and you pray about it, and we talk about all of this, then it makes it a lot easier to let it go, to let him go. And that's the goal of healing, right? That's part of the healing process. A big chunk of it is letting go of the ex, because you may let him go physically. He may no longer be in your life. You may not be in relationship with him, but you have to let him go mentally and you have to let him go emotionally. And those things do take time, but they also take intentionality. And that's why you have to grieve intentionally. You might be saying, but I don't want to grieve. Again, sis, you are likely already doing that. You may not know it. You may not realize it, but you are likely already in this process. Okay. So just make sure that you can really get the tools and the education around what everything looks like and how to deal with it. Which leads me to a bonus tip with intentional grieving, and that is that, you find the right resources to guide you through the process. All right. So I've just talked a lot about processing, right? And the healing journey, the healing process, but you can't do it alone, likely. Okay. You come to the podcast because you need help, right? You're here for encouragement, and you're also here to learn. So you're here getting tools, resources, guidance on how to move forward. But if you feel like you need to take it up a notch, right, and you want like a true roadmap to take you step by step, then I encourage you to join me in my course, Grieving the Living, to go ahead and have a true roadmap that will take you week by week, step by step, and also have a community of other people who will join you on this journey, who's also in the course and dealing with the same thing that you are dealing with. Okay. So if you want to take advantage of it, if this sounds good to you, right? If God is moving you, because I don't ever want to pressure you into doing something, but this is an invitation for you to join me, because I don't want you ending 2023 feeling like you're stuck and you don't know what to do, and you don't know how you're going to make it, and you are dreading 2024 because of what 2023 looks like right now. You don't have to do that, sis. This course will help you and guide you along your grieving journey and help you to have hope for 2024. And that is what I want to see for you. I want you to have hope that better days are ahead of you, that you can be excited about next year, because you know that you're not going to be down the whole time. You're not going to be in this place forever. This is a season, but you will make it out of it. You will feel better again. You won't be hurting like this always. All right. So again, if you want to take advantage of the $50 off, be sure to go to CandiceABaddies.com/grieving the living. Right now, we are having the Black Friday sale, so you can get the $50 off. If you feel like, hey, I still can't afford to pay it all in full with the $50 off, take advantage of the payment plans. I have 2 payment plan options available. Take advantage of that so that you can do what you need to do, get what you need to get that's going to help you on this journey. All right. So I love you so much. Pop over to the Facebook group and make sure if you have questions about the course and you want more information, email me at contact@CandiceABaddies.com. I do not mind. I will answer your questions. All right. So enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy time with family and friends during this holiday season. And I'll talk to you again real soon. Love you, sis. Bye.
Hey, sis. Listen, if you've been blessed, changed, or inspired by this podcast in any way, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This is the #1 way that you can thank me and show support for the show. Also, if this podcast blessed you, don't keep it to yourself. Do a quick share and bless someone else. Please know I am so grateful for each and every one of you, and I would love to hear from you. Come connect with me and other like-minded individuals in my Facebook group called Christian Women Overcoming Heartbreak and Finding Purpose. I can't wait to meet you back here really soon. Until then, remember to love the life you have while you're making it better. Love you, sis.